So dairy cattle exhibitors, if you will make your way to the show ring, we've got some ladies at the corner that are going to help everyone get in order of how we're going to enter the ring. Also, let's take a moment to welcome our dairy judge, Ashley Phillips. She's here from Cheyenne. Thanks for coming up, Ashley. And we have an announcer this morning. Fair Board member Jason Poltiska is going to be our announcer today. So thank you, Jason, for taking that on. We're going to get started. So first in the ring is Miss London Mefford.
Hello, first in the ring is Miss London Mefford, and this is the intermediate dairy showmanship. And then, let's see, and then also JP Reynolds.
You want to borrow? At least the names are easy. I have, oh look, you even have highlighter. Does that help? They're not sensing it, right? Well, this is our only feed of animation show. Okay. So you're going to record officials here and transfer. Yes, because I'm really good at mistakes. And then I'll make a mistake here and make it easier for somebody to read. Paula is also recording officials, and so we'll just, she's just keeping track of data.
And to know a little bit about our judge, Ashley. Ashley's from Cheyenne and works as a phlebotomist at the Cheyenne Regional Medical Center. But her true passion is being a mom to 2 sets of twins, 6-year-old girls and 2.5-year-old boys. Wow, you are brave. She also really loves that she gets to travel to judge livestock at different fairs and stock shows. During her show career, her family raised Saanen, Toggenburgs, and Boer goats, as well as Hereford cattle. Ashley also showed Jersey cattle, sheep, and hogs. Ashley was very competitive in the ring, holding multiple local, state, regional, and national titles in showmanship and with her animals across all species. The highlight of her show career was having the grand champion and reserve champion senior doe, junior doe, and buck for Saanen's and Toggenburg's best doe and udder in show and champion senior showman at the 2004 AGS Nationals. Ashley judged livestock for Casper College with her team placing top 5 at every major contest in the country, with her personal best being high individual at Houston. Ashley has had the privilege of traveling throughout Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and South Dakota to judge fairs and stock shows. She loves getting to interact with youth and learning about their projects. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for that. That's why you have to have a long sleeve.
I think she's a phlebotomist. Let's go ahead and give our showman a round of applause.
I can't hear you.
We're going to trade. Just trade that one.
Here we go.
Let's go ahead and give our showman a round of applause. I'm going to go ahead and use the young man here with the Guernsey as our champion intermediate showman. He's just a bit more knowledgeable, and his cows fit just a bit better for me. This cow's fit to a T. She's fit really, really well, especially down her top line. He's extremely knowledgeable about his project. He knew what freshening was. He knew how many times she freshened. He knew all of his body parts. He knew what he liked about his cow, what he would change. That's nothing to take away from this young lady here who's quite a bit younger, I think, and newer to the project. But I think she just needs to do a bit more in terms of getting her animal ready for the fair this morning. And then just in terms of knowledge, in terms of working on that knowledge about our animal. But let's go ahead and give these young people a big round of applause for working on their projects this summer.
So JP Reinholtz is our champion intermediate showman, and London Mefford is our reserve. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Next into the show ring is going to be our junior dairy cattle showmanship, Miss Penny Reinholtz.
Yeah, I think we should take it off the net first.
in the junior showmanship class, but let's go ahead and give this young person a great round of applause. She does a great job. Another young person, I think, again, is very knowledgeable about her project. She knows a lot about her animal and a lot about the industry as a whole. We talked a little bit about just the leg set in terms of where I'm at, just making sure she knows where I am and making sure that she changes that back leg set in terms of where I'm at. But again, let's give her a round of applause for doing a great job with this project this summer.
Okay, in chair. Yes. Oh, perfect, thanks.
And our champion junior dairy showmanship is Henry Reinholz. Alrighty, our next class is in the Holstein 2-year-old and under. And so Miss London, we need you into the showroom, please. London, you cannot use spurs on that one, just your horses.
individual.
These are all single entry classes.
Right. And then Guernseys are on the end, so you'll have a champion and reserve Guernsey, champion Holstein, and then champion and reserve overall, or just champion?
Champion and reserve.
Okay.
So what we're doing is all three of these are in different individual classes initially because they're different age groups and Holstein's a different breed. And so she's going to judge the Holstein and then each individually, and then the two Guernseys together, and then have an overall dairy cow once she's done with the individual judgments.
So we'll go ahead and talk about the Holstein heifer here in the center first, since she's an only entry. One that we really appreciate in terms of her dairy character, one that's really long about her head and neck, one that's really good in terms of her dairy character, one that's really correct in terms of her rib. She's one that I question a little bit in terms of her overall just structural correctness, one that likes to get a little bit more upright in terms of her shoulder structure, but one that I think is a really good project for this young lady. Then we're going to go ahead and talk, so she'll be your champion Holstein, and then we'll go ahead and talk about our Guernsey heifers. We'll talk about our dry heifer first, one that we really appreciate just in terms of her overall general correctness, one that's good in terms of her balance from the side, and one that we really like in terms of her levelness down her top line. One that I question just a little bit in terms of her overall correctness, in terms of her dairy character. She likes to get a little bit shorter there in terms of her neck. But one that we like in terms of her overall bone density, one that we like in terms of her balance of her body. Then we get to our milking, I believe he said she was 4. Milking 4-year-old Guernsey, one that we love just in terms of her general correctness. She's really good in terms of her dairy character. She's really good in terms of her balance from the side. She's great in terms of her rib shape. If I were to change her at all, I think she needs to be a bit more correct in terms of her rear mammary system, in terms of her height of her mammary system, of her rear udder attachment. But that's being pretty critical of one that I think does a lot of good things for this young man. So he'll be your champion Guernsey, and then your reserve champion Guernsey is going to be the dry yearling. And then overall champion, I'll go out and shake the hand of your champion, and I'll shake the hand of your reserve. So let's go ahead and give your 3 individual showmen a big hand, and then I'll go out and shake the hand of your champion overall dairy cow, and then I'll shake the hand of your reserve dairy cow.
I was gonna ask you, are we doing checks the day of the show?
Overall.
So our overall dairy cattle is JP, Reynolds, and reserve is going to be Penny.
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Emily, are we going to do the clover buds? Aaliyah? So our clover buds is the 5 and 7-year-olds pre-4-H, getting a little taste of what they're going to get into when they're able to show. And Olivia Reynolds is going to be coming to the ring here in just a second.
Okay. Yeah, and I talked to the side of being sure
I'm sure Gary and Sarah can get some milk for your coffee if you need some this morning. You guys, okay, good to go. Okay, just checking. And in the ring we have Olivia. And so all of our dairy exhibitors this morning, the backdrop is set up behind the little white building where the sale office is. If you'd like to go get your photo, please, with the backdrop. We'll take a little, short little break in between the dairy cow and the dairy goat show. About a 5-minute break.
Turn the water on. Emily.
Yes, ma'am.
I have Stacy's phone. I'll text her. Oh, perfect. Start go so she can get over. Yeah. That's why it took me. Yeah. Did you bring Clover blood?
I did.
Does she have that?
She will.
No, I mean.
Thank you. No, I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
Is Heidi. Our old man's been calling her Heidi since she was 9 years old.
Heidi.
70s.
That's funny.
She loves her.
Yeah, she wasn't there when I was just there a few seconds ago.
Yeah, she was.
And what's the little guy's name?
Virgil.
They're amazing, aren't they? Yeah. I have one like that too. She's just
You would see him.
All right, everybody, let's give Olivia a big round of applause for bringing her cow out this morning. for showing.
yeah.
Okay, the dairy goat show will start here in about 5 minutes. That concludes the dairy cow show this morning. Again, all exhibitors, please go get your photo taken against the backdrop behind the sale office to our north of the sale ring here.
Oh, right up from Cheyenne.
Not bad.
Construction season.
There was only one spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a shocker.
I was prepared. It was between Castle and Glendale, kind of like always, but it was only about a quarter of a mile spot, so it wasn't bad at all.
So going south,
There should be
there, my husband had to go at Catworth. He says, it took me on a detour to clear around.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
He
He says, I have no clue.
Did you come up last night? That Justin came back last night to a family down to.
Oh, Cody Johnson.
Yeah, it was Luke, right?
That was a couple nights ago.
Oh, yeah, it
Cody
was.
was last night.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it wasn't last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So. She's been wanting to see that.
And that's good.
They're seeing her dad already.
Fun.
Oh. That's fun.
Checking everything with the hotel, checking in was good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I forgot my ID.
No.
The Cheyenne.
Yeah. He's like, do you have your ID? And I was like, no. I don't, but I have my judging contract. I have pictures on my phone that have my face on it. I was like, my mom's in the car. She has her ID. It has the same last name, but different first name. So they ended up just switching it over to her name. My girls were scared to do it, and we got here to say, just talking again.
My grandson's he was April 12th.
Oh,
So-
they're April 14th.
Yeah, so he's over here in the little trouble over there.
Gotcha.
So, something with more.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a sin, not a dog. You were My sister-in-law actually said that now, when they're in their teens,
Yeah.
lots of stress, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't fall asleep till almost the end of last week. That's why I have 6-year-old girls and 2.5-year-old boys.
Stuff, the double
So no wonder why the double bed.
Yeah.
So,
Very good. Well, we're glad you're here. Thanks for driving.
yes, thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you for having me.
I'm going to the first show. Yell if you need something, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, yell over there.
You probably better call me.
You could call her and ask.
Mason's still there with your, she's showing the video.
Mason had it right there for a long time. It was,
It's that Nubian, right?
that gray.
That
Oh,
gray?
that's right there. Standing there by Charles.
Well, I guess if Adeline and Finley and Mason are ready, we could get going with the goat show. Does that sound good, Emily? All right, you're the boss. All right, for our first class, we are going to have intermediate dairy goat showmanship. So we need Finley Poltiska to the ring, please.
Oh, we're gonna start. I need to tell Stacy.
Is there a reserve or no? For, is this showmanship? Showmanship?
Single entry.
I don't have a banner for that. Is this one entry? This is a single entry for intermediate.
Showmanship.
Intermediate showmanship.
Ashley Bridges was supposed to be entered in junior showmanship and it didn't show up, but we're putting her in. Because I'm not in the business of breaking kids' hearts.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
No, put her in. This is her first year, they didn't know. Put her in. That's why I used it direct for junior showmanship. She didn't know.
Where's she at?
I think it's, I think it's Adeline or Adeline. This is for showmanship. Wait, that we're still in reserve.
You did say junior, right? Emma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So that's for her. For this. And then these are for Jocelyn. Oh, you have, I'm coming with you. Isn't this delightful?
You can be so low, it's getting down low.
Was she looking for it?
I was.
Oh.
In our next class will be the junior dairy goat showmanship. We will have the 2 entries, Mason Swinger and Adeline Bridges. Be ready as soon as Finley is done here.
Thank you for announcing. It's a different world.
It is.
Almost more stressful because you just feel like you should be over there.
It's difficult. Whatever the 5:30 is coming, our dairy weight show what's happening. Show them. I was like, I was hoping. No way. You'll touch it. See her also because of this night. Playing around, trimming, and feet, showing how to fit them. Because Jesse does that actually. Everything that's in the
and
Single entry in your intermediate showman, first time showman. Let's go ahead and give your intermediate showman a big round of applause. Again, a single entry, but a young lady that does a great job. We talked over some things that we could change in showmanship, but she's very knowledgeable about our project and the industry as a whole. Again, a good project for this young lady. Again, let's give her a big round of applause.
Our champion intermediate dairy goat showman is Finley Koltiska. Next into the ring is going to be our junior dairy goat showman, Mason Swinier and Adeline Bridges. The age range for intermediate is 11, 12, and 13, and the junior age division is 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
yep, your arms cut now. 3/4. He was born February. Same year version. He's only 5 equals. It's out of place.
Usually we're talking like
Yeah.
90%.
Yeah. He's a big kid. Taylor's due to have another baby
When she
in a month. Not quite.
Sage is doing decent.
About the same. Yeah.
So that's good. The kids are hopefully 2.5 to 3 years apart.
And I wish it was like this. They're not
My
like
sister,
yeah, it does. And Lakers, is Virgil popular?
He's starting to really push it. Like, he was slower than KDP was.
Laker, he says certain things, but oh no.
There's a few things. He is yeah.
Of course.
It's really the last 2 weeks.
So Laker has been, well, Dad's been away most of his life, so
Jacob's been working on it for a year.
yeah. It's tough on those boys. They have to have their dad around.
Let's go ahead and give our junior showman a big round of applause. We're going to go ahead and start with the young man with the BMW as our champion. His nose fit just a little bit more to my liking. She's trimmed up just a little bit tighter, and he is just a bit more knowledgeable about his project overall. They both need to work a little bit just in terms of always making sure that they know where the judge is and making sure that they know what side that the judge is on, and making sure that they're on the opposite side of the judge. We always walk in front of our goats and making sure that we switch in front of our goat. They both kind of pass the lead behind their backs once, and that's a big no-no in the goat world. But otherwise, they do a great job. So let's go ahead and give both of our showmen a big round of applause. The young lady here with the Nigerian dwarf, her goat is very clean. We love that her goat's very clean. She's very knowledgeable about our projects. She's very knowledgeable about the industry. We talked a little bit just about how her goat needs to be trimmed up just a little bit closer in terms of the hair length, and then how we just need to make sure, again, that we know where the judge is at all times, and that we make sure that we keep our feet set at all times. But otherwise, two showmen that are working really hard with their projects and deserve a huge round of applause. So let's give them another big round of applause.
So our champion junior dairy goat showman is Mason Swinier, and reserve champion Adeline Bridges. Congratulations, guys.
Good job.
We're going to move into our junior show. Our first class is going to be the La Mancha breed junior kid born after April 1st of this year with a single entry Finley showing mouse. And for the Nicholas here, I'm going to introduce our judge again, Ashley Phillips. Ashley's from Cheyenne and works as a phlebotomist at Cheyenne Regional Medical Center. But her true passion is being a mom of 2 sets of twins, 6-year-old girls, and 2.5-year-old boys. She also really loves that she gets to travel to judge livestock at different fairs and stock shows. During her show career, her family raised Saanen, Toggenburg, and Boer goats, as well as Hereford cattle. Ashley also showed Jersey cattle, sheep, and hogs. Ashley was very competitive in the ring, holding multiple local, state, regional, and national titles in showmanship with her animals across all species. The highlight of her show career was having the grand champion and reserve champion senior doe, junior doe, and buck for Sonnens and Toggenburgs. Best doe and udder in show and champion senior showman at the 2004 AGS Nationals. Ashley judged livestock for Casper College with her team placing top 5 at every major contest in the country, with her personal best being high individual at Houston. Ashley has had the privilege of traveling throughout Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska, and South Dakota to judge fairs and stock shows. She loves getting to interact with youth and learning about their projects. Thank you, Ashley.
Single entry in the Junior La Mancha show. A kid that I think does a lot of good things for this young person. One that's good in terms of her dairy character, and she balances up well enough from this side. If I were to change the doe at all, I'd like to make her a bit more relaxed there at the angle to her shoulder and a bit more correct in the turn to her rib. But again, I think a project that does a lot of good things for this young lady, so let's give her a round of applause.
Did you do
Well, is this the only La Mancha?
We have more La Manchas.
More La Mancha.
This is
Okay,
only
so
junior.
This is the only junior.
so she'll be champion junior kid then, right?
Well, there'll be a senior, yeah, because there'll be a senior yearling is the next one.
Okay, then yeah, blue. Okay.
Thank you, Finley. Next into the ring, we have Mason Swinier with the senior yearling, born September 1st, 23 to October 30th of 2024. Showing Edna. Edna. Pretty sure that's exactly where the name came from, I'm sure, right? Edna. She's gonna make Mason a super suit.
and tell Christine to find some fly?
Sticks.
Because if he does it like Monday, we should be good by Yes. If that's what she
Single entry in the Junior Nubian show. Another one that I think could withstand quite a bit of competition. One that's really correct in terms of her dairy character. She's extremely long and extended there ahead of her shoulder. One that's really good in terms of her balance from the side. If I were to change her at all, I'd like to level her out from her hooks to her pins. But again, I think that's being critical of a doe that does a lot of good things for this young man. So let's give him a big round of applause. Now we'll go ahead and bring that La Mancha kid back in for overall junior kid.
Did you give this one a...
So our champion Nubian senior yearling is Mason Swinier with Edna. Little rodeo there, Finley. So now we're gonna go for overall junior doe.
It's not really good. Well, did Astor, did Hazen not come? Okay.
When we compare these does to each other, I think there's a doe that's just a bit more correct in terms of her structural correctness. One that's a bit longer and more extended ahead of her shoulder. And that's going to be our Nubian doe, so she's going to be your champion. And then the La Mancha doe will be your reserve. So let's go ahead and give these kids a big round of applause.
And our champion of the junior show is going to be Mason Swinier with Edna. And reserve champion Finn Nicoltesco with Mouse. Our next class is going to be La Mancha, 2 years and under 3. Finley Coltisca showing Hazel.
Yeah, the flies are bad. That was
Single entry in your 2 years and under 3, first freshener. A single entry doe, one that I think, again, can distinguish from competition, one that I really, again, appreciate in terms of her dairy character. She's long and extended head of her shoulder. She's good in terms of her mammary system, one that's high and tight there to rear udder attachment, one that's really extended in her fore udder attachment. If I were to change her at all, I think she needs to be a bit more extended in terms of her length of body, and I'd like to see her a bit more even in terms of her halves there in her mammary system, but one that I think does a lot of good things for this young lady, so let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Finley. The next class is going to be, that was the champion 2 and under 3 La Mancha. The next class is going to be 4 years and under 5 La Manchas. Finley's going to be showing Astrid.
I did too. I'm gonna text Chris and just say, so I don't forget.
Single entry 5-year-old doe with 4 freshenings, one that is really, really good in terms of her balance from the side, one that we really love in terms of her dairy character. She's great in terms of her spring of rib, one that we love in terms of her mammary system. If we were to change her at all, I think we need to just fix her in terms of her shoulder alignment. She likes to get a bit upright there in terms of her shoulder structure, but again, I think one that does a lot of good things for this young lady, so let's give her a round of applause.
Good job, Lisa, being on top of things.
Right.
Okay, so she's on 4-year-old, right? You can, yeah. Has she had?
This is her first session.
Okay.
Sorry to keep making
Yeah, it's good for me.
Locales.
Out for selection of your champion, La Mancha, we have our aged doe, one that I think is just a bit more correct in terms of her overall rib shape, one that's a bit longer body, more correct in terms of her overall dairy character. I like her mammary system a bit better. We're going to go ahead and use our aged doe, one that I think is just more correct overall. And then your reserve champion will be our yearling. She's more correct in terms of her structural correctness, but one that gets a bit shorter body for me and is just not as overall correct in terms of her mammary system, so she'll be your reserve champion. So again, champion will be your aged doe, reserve champion will be your yearling, your 2-year-old.
So our champion launch is going to be Finley Coltiska with Astrid, and reserve champion that Mason was so kindly enough to show is going to be Finley's doe named Hazel.
That's why it was so hard, because they were mom and baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our next class is going to be Nigerian dwarf, 2 years and under 3, Miss Adeline Bridges, showing Moxie. Here comes Moxie and Adeline.
Sage and Steer died. She was This is, yes, 2 years and under 3.
Single entry in your 2-year-old and under 3 Nigerian dwarf class. A doe that I think does a lot of good things for this young lady. One that balances up really well from the side. If we were to change her at all, I think we need to make her more correct in terms of her dairy character. She needs to be longer and more extended there ahead of her shoulder. She needs to be longer and more extended from thorough to thorough. But one I think that does a lot of good things for this young lady. So let's give her a big round of applause for her summer project.
Are you doing what color? Okay. Unless you tell me, I'll just believe that.
Yes.
Our champion Nigerian 2 years and under 3 is Adeline Bridges with Moxie. Next into the ring, we're going to bring our senior Nigerian dwarf, 5 years and over, Finley Coltiska with Canary.
She's had 2 sets of quads and a set of quintuples.
What does she have this year?
Triplets. She's never had less than 2.
She's a producer.
I think she's 7. 7 or 8. She's a producer machine. 8's her right now.
I see that.
I have pictures rolling up and around. Sitting behind her, both sitting on her. She hates it. I can't. It's so funny. Like, she's nuts.
An aged doe that we have to give credit where credit's due is 7-year-old that still is holding up extremely well. One that's still really strong in her pasterns on the go. One that's great in terms of her structural correctness. One that we we love in terms of her balance from the side, one that's great in terms of her dairy character. If we were to change her at all, I'd like to make her a bit leveler from hooks to pins. But again, I think that's being critical of a doe that does a lot of good things for this young lady. So let's go ahead and give her a big round of applause.
Is she a blue as well? We're gonna say.
And now Miss Adeline is going to be bringing Moxie back in for overall Nigerian doe.
When I compare these does for overall champion of the Nigerian dwarfs, I think there's one that is just more complete. When we talk about this age doe, she's just longer and more extended there ahead of her shoulder. She's more correct in the turn to her rib for me. She's more correct in the turn to her barrel. She's longer and deeper there in terms of her balance from the side. She's going to go ahead and be your champion, and then the 2-year-old will be your reserve. So let's go ahead and give these two exhibitors a big round of applause.
Now we're going to be going overall doe show. Is that correct, ma'am?
No. It's over. Yeah, it was very close.
And Molly, this is the overall doe show. Is that correct?
This is overall.
Overall senior.
And this will be your best udder too.
So this is going to be the overall senior doe, and we will also judge the best udder.
Yes, he did. Yeah. How dare you? Won't be long, Virgil. Won't be long.
5, 6 years old.
Is he coming from culture show some dates?
Is there a champion and reserve or just champion? Champion and reserve. Champion and reserve.
Yes.
Out for selection of your champion and reserve senior does. We'll go ahead and talk about these each individually, just comparatively. Your Nigerian dwarf first, one that we really love just in terms of her overall general appearance. She's really long and extended ahead of her neck. She's great in terms of her dairy character. One that's holding up really well. She's great in terms of her structural correctness. She's still up on her pasterns. If we were to change her at all, I think we need to make her higher and wider in her rear udder attachment and a bit more forward in her fore udder attachment. But I think that's being critical of a project that does a lot of good things for this young lady. Then we talk about our La Mancha doe, one that's more correct in terms of her mammary system. She's higher and wider at her rear udder attachment. She's pulled further forward at her fore udder attachment, but one that I question a bit in terms of her structural correctness, especially compared to this Nigerian dwarf doe. But one, again, I think that balances up well enough from the side. She does a lot of good things in terms of her dairy correctness. One, again, that I think does a lot of good things in terms of just a project overall. When we talk about just overall structural correctness, balance from the side, I think just being overall completeness, we're going to go ahead and use our Nigerian dwarf doe as our champion, and our reserve champion is going to go to our age La Mancha doe. So let's go ahead and give our exhibitor a round. Then we go ahead and talk about our overall udders. The champion udder will go to the La Mancha doe.
So our overall senior champion is going to be Finley Poltiska with Canary, and reserve champion is going to be Finley Poltiska with Astrid. And Astrid also had the champion udder.
if those gates open both ways? For this show, that would be handy.
So we need a senior reserve, junior, and senior. Just need a final class right?
So I'm not one to ask. I'm so sorry.
I'm sure this is a final class, overall don't show. Senior.
Entering in the ring will be this next class is the overall Dove show. We will have our champion senior, shown by Finley Coldiska, showing Canary, the Nigerian dwarf. Our reserve champion in the senior division is going to be shown by Adeline, and that is Astrid. Our champion junior is Mason with, what's Mason with? Edna. And then our junior champion is going to be Mouse. Shown by, is that Everly?
Everly.
Yeah, Everly.
Is that Everly?
Thank you, Everly, for helping out.
Okay, so this one is overall senior dough.
Overall senior dough. Overall senior dough is going to be Canary.
Yeah.
The Astrid's reserve and Astrid one other.
Astrid,
Reserve champion senior and other.
yeah.
And this next overall dough. There should be one.
So the overall senior dough and the overall dough show are completely
The
different.
senior dough will be junior. So we have the junior, the champion
Got
senior.
it. Okay.
No judge for the overall dough.
Okay. Thank you for
Yep, that's just standing, okay?
the grid of how dairy works.
It's a pretty neat.
Right.
Just like a cow.
We compare our senior and junior does. I think there's some comparisons here that we can look at. We talk about our Nigerian North doe, one that we really love just overall, one that's good in terms of her dairy character, one that's good in terms of her general appearance, one that's just really, really complete. We talk about our La Mancha doe that stands behind her as reserve, one that we really, again, love in terms of her general appearance, but we question just a little bit in terms of her structural correctness. We come to our Nubian doe, one that I think is a bit in a weird growth pattern just right now in terms of her balance. She doesn't balance up quite as well from the side, but one that's structurally correct. She's great in terms of her dairy character. She balances up well enough from the side, but she just doesn't balance up in terms of completely from the side in terms of that flank pull, but one that I think does well enough from the side for me. And then we talk about our little La Mancha doe there in the back from the junior kid perspective, one that's just too small, I think, really to compete with these big girls today, but one that's a good project for this young lady. I'll go ahead and go out and shake the hand of your champion, and then I'll shake the hand of your reserve. Let's go ahead and give all of your individual showmen today a big round of applause. Also, let's go ahead and give all the 4-H educators, all the helpers, everyone up behind us, everyone, all the parents, everyone that's helped today, a big round of applause because these kids couldn't be here without all those helpers today as well. Thank you for having me.
Our overall champion Noah show is going to be Finley Coltiska with Canary, and the reserve champion is going to be Mason Swinier with Edna. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ashley, for judging our show.
Oh my.
Nice job, Everly.
She did a great job.
Oh, Mouse was giving you a run.
Willow, pick it up.
I wonder what's on there.
Yeah, is Mousy grandma?
Yeah, she's just this year. It's out of Astrid. Single. She's
Yep.
Next, we have our Clover Bud entry, Miss Evelyn Bridges. She She walks a little bit better than Mouse did, huh?
Is it Alan? Working on it. He's been pulling on it the whole time he's been over there. Yeah, I told him to bring us some fly.
Let's give Everly and Gus a big round of applause for coming out tonight.
They won't make it today, but for the week they will.
Thank you, Everly. That's the showman in the making right there. Yep, remember everybody, all the exhibitors need to go to the backdrop and get a photo taken, please. It's behind the sale office over here on the north side of the ring. Otherwise, I'll stick Emily on you. That's you, Finley. Thank you all for coming to our show this morning. That concludes our Dairy Goat and Dairy Cow show. Hoping to see you all at the next one.